Monster Hunter Rise is out. We played a little bit of multiplayer, Sean, right? We did that in your video, which was pretty cool. And I've been playing it quite a bit single player wise. I've never gotten really into a Monster Hunter game. I did one, I think, on the PSP more than the others. I think that was Freedom Unite.
Yeah.
I have to look at which one it was because they had like 1 and 2.
They also Try was on there, I think. That's the one I played, I think.
I played World an all right amount, but I fell out of them, and then I picked this one up, and this might be legitimately like the best Monster Hunter game I've played. I've tried all of them for the most part, but this, except for the one on the I didn't play the one on the PS2 much because that just first showed up and it was pretty dated. Now you look at it, but this might be one of the best Monster Hunter games I've played them, and I would say it's so good that it's pulling people in who have never really been into Monster Hunter, like Sean, for example. You didn't really play a lot of Monster Hunter before this, did you?
I played some of the PSP ones. I played Try on the Wii, and I played Generations Ultimate, but I wouldn't say whenever I play those games, I wouldn't like binge them. I would play for like an hour or two and just like, okay, return to it the next day. But this game, like, I got a review copy on Thursday. I was like, all right, well, let me play for an hour because we were making a video for online. And I was like, well, let me play for an hour or two just to get used to the game's mechanics or whatever. And then, whatever. The next thing I knew, 6.5 hours went by, and I was like, oh, wow, I guess I like this more than I thought I did. I've already finished it. I'm on the extra monsters and stuff. Just amazing game. Yeah, it's interesting because I think the biggest part about it that's setting it apart right now is the wire bug where you're kind of zipping around with that. I think the part that I've never really been a big fan of with Monster Hunter is probably the movement. It feels clunky, whereas now I almost feel like it's close to like almost Spider-Man at times, where you're just zipping around with the wire bug. You're going up mountainsides and stuff real easy with that. You're jumping.
Yeah, adding the Palamute into being able to do things off the back, of the dog and stuff like that. That's really, really cool.
We were playing, Sean, and you were like, this is amazing. I can sharpen my blade when I'm riding on the Palamute. And I was like, it seems like a little thing, but you know what? That's actually something I would expect Monster Hunter to make you get off the Palamute, open 3 different menus, and then you sharpen your blade or something.
It's so fast. I love everything so fast. And also, can we just take a second to gush over the fact that this is some of the best Nintendo Switch graphics ever? Across the board, one of the things that it made me most is a lot of these character models look like they took them from Monster Hunter World, like a couple of the repeat monsters that are just wandering around, and they practically look like the PS4 version. I don't know how the hell they did this.
Yeah, this RE engine is pretty impressive, even like on the Switch. So, you know what? I'm gonna be really curious whenever they do the next Monster Hunter World and they put that into RE engine, like how that's gonna look. Because clearly the big thing here is the difference between MT Framework and RE engine. And I mean, it works really well on the Switch. The thing I was really concerned about was, will the frame rate hold up when we're playing? But I gotta tell you, when all 4 of us were playing yesterday, Sean, and like we were against like 3 large monsters ended up all at once against us, and a bunch of small monsters, there all this stuff happening. It was pretty solid. It didn't.
And all your dogs are there too. So there's even all the monsters are on screen, and everything holds up, and even in portable mode too. Well, we were playing. There was a time that I was playing, and everything was held up great in portable mode. So it was great.
I think you mentioned it, Nate. You're like, I'm actually surprised the frame rate hasn't dropped at all when we're doing this, because we were just like, we were getting lit up by 3 monsters at once. We all got killed.
Yeah, we had 3 monsters. The 4 of us were just unloading attacks in rapid succession, and we even had the little beast coming in to partake. We had our dogs attacking, and everything was going smooth, and it was kind of amazing that it wasn't getting huge hitches in performance.
It feels better. It feels better in co-op rampages as well, when you're fighting like 5 or 6 of those large monsters at the same time. It gets crazy.
I honestly feel like this is how I would expect a game on the revised Switch to look and run.
True,
Like I really feel like this is like a standard bearing game for the Switch, to where it's like, you can't figure out how to get your engine from a PS4 or a PS5 game to run on the Switch. Well, why can Capcom? I mean, it's Capcom at the end of the day. Capcom needs to fucking license that engine out and be like, look, here's the tools to put your games on the Switch, because I mean, you compare that to some other third-party games, and it's night and day.
The thing, though, it's effort though. Like they actually took the time, and they've been making this game for years now. A lot of these developers, they want to do just the ports, downsize it to Switch, and they don't want to spend the money and the time and the effort to make a game for it. We've only had, I think we've had two. Dragon Quest XI S was made for the Switch within Unreal Engine. So they didn't just downport it. They made it for the Switch, and that game performs very well. Now we have this game. Those are like the two major ones made for it. Not that's just, okay, let's port it from Xbox One or whatever the case is. So when you do that, obviously it takes more time, effort, and money, but the results are so much better. And obviously the game sales for this are insane. And Dragon Quest XI sold extremely well on the Switch too. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's
like sold out a lot of places. Like even online, it's sold out.
This is good for, Capcom was going to take their time with this game because they have the benefit of being Monster Hunter on a system. It sells well on Nintendo systems as it was in the past, but this is coming off the heels of Monster Hunter World. So they're like, all right, we can put more time in this. And the word is it's selling through, and their first shipment was like 1.5 million in Japan, I think. And it's apparently sold out in most stores. So they're going to report some massive numbers for this
game.
On
the eShop too. One on the eShop. 1 and 3, I think the regular edition and the digital deluxe edition. So it's doing incredibly well. Number one on Amazon Japan, multiple spots. So yeah, it's killing it.
Yes. So it's rolling along there. And then a lot of the things that are really interesting in the game so far that I found, and you posted one part of it, Sean, but you're going to run into this at some point if you're going through the game and you're fighting multiple large monsters at once, is they'll actually size each other up and start fighting in the middle of the area you're in. They'll have their little turf battle. And we watched you something you posted where the large monster threw the other one up with its mouth and flying in the air.
Beasting that day. I put it on Twitter. He just absolutely beasted. It was like watching King Kong at the start where he's thrashing the dinosaurs, when he gets loose. It was crazy. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I ran into that a couple times now, where it's you'll have the two monsters, and you might be fighting one, the other one just rolls in and smacks the other one. It explodes for this big number. But I've seen it a couple times. It's just interesting to watch the different monsters interact with each other at times if they're caught in the right environment.
Speaking of how much have y'all seen? So how much have y'all messed with the monster riding stuff? Because that, especially when there's the monsters fighting each other, it's really nice. When we're doing group co-op, because I did co-op with Sean, and at one point there was this big old dragon trying to eat me, and Sean just jumped onto its back and ran into a wall or run it into other stuff, fighting into each other. It's fantastic.
You can catch them. Sometimes one of the monsters will punch the other one and break its guard or break stuff off of it. And it'll fall down, and then you can jump on top of it. You're right, Max. And I did that, and I had that monster then just slap the other one, and I ran into a wall. And it's pretty cool to kind of jump in of the battles when one's weaker and take over and start actually having them swing back. So it's kind of cool how you can pick your spots in those fights too, to be able to try to beat both of them and then get more equipment or more parts for your equipment. But I've actually had a good time. I'm surprised. I did not think I would really be that interested in another Monster Hunter game, but it almost feels like, I guess, the next evolution after World. So I'll be curious if they're going to keep this mobility up that they have now with this wire bug.
I would think they would have to.
Yeah,
they have to.
Well,
it's not even necessarily mobility. It's mobility, it's attacks, it's getting to different areas. Because usually, your Monster Hunter games, you have one floor. You have different areas within that floor, but it's essentially one floor. This is you have to climb and traverse and
you can
hidden areas.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, there's so much.
No fall damage.
Yeah, no. Okay.
If there's small damage, it would be ugly.
Oh yeah, I would have been dead multiple times.
I've been flattened multiple times. On the ground.
I have a clip that I put in my review that I was really happy with, where a monster threw me. It hit me, and I was next to a house. And as I was falling, I managed to grapple hook onto the roof of the house, pull myself up there, get onto the roof, and then jump off and strike it. And I was like, "Oh my god, you can't ever take that out. You can't take that mechanic out of the game ever."
Yeah, so I assume they're going to stick with this as they go along, because it's changed the overall combat, the way you get around the world, everything. So I think it's going to be really cool to see what they do going forward with this. And I assume they're going to do, as they said, more updates for it, maybe more content down the road for this DLC or something.
There's a bunch of free DLC coming. There's definitely going to be more monsters and stuff and equipment and armor. And
just seeing what they did with Monster Hunter World, and this has the potential to be larger terms of sales than that, especially when they release it again next year on the PC and they have another big launch of it. They'll probably call it even like the, Monster Hunter Rise, like, I don't know, Game of the Year edition or something. So it could get Game of the Year nominees for all we know. So
it needs to. It's the best game I've played this year.
Yeah, I give it 10 out of 10. This is the best game I've played this year. And I'll just say it right now, if this game ends up coming to PlayStation 5 next year, if this isn't like an exclusive for everything, I'm buying it again on PS5. It's that good.
I think it's kind of cool that it came out first on the Switch, though. To be
honest. Yeah, it flexes. It flexes hard.
Nintendo paid for it.
It kind of reminds me of like reminds me of like Octopath, maybe, how that was on the Switch for a while and then it eventually went to PC, then eventually went to Stadia, and then eventually went to Xbox finally years and years later. So I mean, I guess it's possible, but they might just do another World. Might just get like World 2 or something.
If they paid for it, then I'm sure they had them sign the same as the Street Fighter 5 contract, where it's like, all right, this can only exist on PlayStation or PC.
Yeah, it's basically Switch and PC right now. So, and I was actually surprised they even mentioned PC already. I thought they would have kept like that quiet for a while.
Did Try come over to any other platform? It came over to the Wii, then the Wii U. Did it come over to any other platform outside of that?
I don't think so. I thought it just stayed on Nintendo's platforms.
So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But
I think it's smart for them to leave that on. Like, they just have two different Monster Hunter games going, because then they make World 2 for the PlayStation, the Xbox, and they make whatever they want to do after Rise for the Switch and PC, and then the PC just gets both of them. So what do we think?
This is going to be the highest selling third-party Switch game?
Yes,
it probably already is.
Oh yeah, I don't know what else would like come close to it. I'm trying to think.
People count Minecraft. I don't necessarily, but some people say Minecraft. I don't think the MPD counts Minecraft. They were saying Mario plus Rabbids is the best selling third party game for the longest time, and Minecraft's always obviously been that's sold millions on Switch. So
I mean, they're gonna put up the Famitsu sales this week, and it's gonna be over 1 million copies, I assume. In 2 days, it tracks Friday and Saturday, so. Yeah, it's going to immediately become the best third-party selling Switch game like this year immediately. So, I mean, there's also I know there's Momotaro did pretty well in Japan. That's from Konami, surprisingly. So I assume so. Yes, this is going to be the best selling third-party game on the Switch easily. So, but
I watched the Monster Hunter movie.
Hey, so did I.
If that adds anything. That's the only Monster Hunter I've done.
So wait, hold on, Jordan. You watched the Monster Hunter movie. You bought Balan Wonderworld. You've had a week.
I've had a week. I'll tell you this: the movie's still pretty bad, but better. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought they're going to do a way worse job because of the Resident Evil movies, but it was like a 4 out of 10.
I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was goofy. I like how small it was. I liked that most of it's just Tony Jaa and Mila Jovovich sitting in a desert.
I thought it was going to go in a different direction. It's literally just a survival movie the whole time. It's all it is. And I'm like,
do they fight monsters?
A
little bit. They mostly hide from monsters.
A lot of spider things, whatever those are.
Yeah. Well, because I mean they're the size the monsters are in the thing, but they kind of have human levels of strength. So when dinosaurs and shit are rolling around and there's the giant under the sand thing, they're like, yeah, we hide here.
It's called Monster Hunter, not Monster Hider.
Yeah, Monster Runner.
That's what I was trying to get us to capture a monster, and you guys kept saying, "This is Monster Hunter. We got to kill it. It's like
exactly. We're not here to make friends. We're here to kill,
capture it, and get the better rewards.
You know what's gonna happen to the thing after it gets captured anyway, right?
You're gonna put it in the arena, and then you train. We run riding. Exactly what happened.
Why couldn't we capture it? Sean is just like bloodthirsty whole time. How much longer do you think you'll stick with this, Sean? You gonna just what's your plan here for the end game stuff? Are you gonna try to finish your ultimate weapon and then you're done?
I'm killing every monster in the game. And I'd like to get all the weapon cost stuff, and I'm using the sword and shield mostly. So I'd like to get the top tier stuff.
Yeah, I guess we should see what's the weapon everyone's using right now.
I got the poison spear shield.
Shield. Okay.
Yeah. I use the bone line of the heavy sword. I love the heavy sword.
Nice. I got the dual blades.
That's what I'm using, our dual blades.
Yeah.
I'm working up this little skill tree for that thing.
I like the bow, man. I've been using the bow, and it's fun, super fun to use the bow, and
Yeah, I saw what you're on your stream when you're playing. It looked like a completely different game than what I was playing. When you're using
there's all different. If you go into the settings, the any of the gun controls, there's so many more controls just to like make that completely different. It's
I was like, maybe I should try to change over to one of those gun, or like they have like the gun blade almost, and I'm like,
it's so weird because when you get into the game, it's like, okay, your stamina goes, like if you use this silkbind attack, it like regenerates. There's invincibility frames after you do this type of thing. You're like, there's all this like layers of depth on top of just using like one weapon compared to something else. It feels like a completely
you eventually get the new abilities later on. Like I get a shield bash now instead of the spear slam, so I actually can block things as I'm running at them. It's great.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like the upgrading and everything is just it's a phenomenal game, man. I'm impressed. I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd like it as much. I was wrong about it, man. I thought it was going to be like, oh yeah, I tried. It's a little bit better than Try, or it's a little bit better than 4 or 4 Ultimate, but it's like a lot better for me at least. So.
Well, actually, what's interesting, Sean, is we have this. This is like the best looking game on the Switch now, is what a lot of people are saying. There's rumors about that Resident Evil game. What if you think they're use the RE engine for that too? Maybe that could end up being a better looking game.
I mean, if I'm Capcom, I'm putting all of my, because this game is going to sell well, not just because it's a Monster Hunter game, but because it's doing things different and it's actually utilizing the system to its capability. So if I'm Capcom, I'm wanting to put as much RE engine stuff on the Switch as I can if I'm able to get these results, because what I'm doing is I'm Capcom, but they're making themselves look like a dominant force right up there with Nintendo in terms of quality that you can expect from games utilizing this engine.
Okay, I'll be curious to see if they use RE engine for that too. That could be interesting.
I mean,
what we've seen with Monster Hunter.
Well, it's supposedly designed with the Switch in mind, but going to be a multi-plat. So if it's going to be a multi-plat, I would assume it would use RE engine.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, we got that showcase coming up, so I guess you never know. Never know.
I hope so. I would definitely be interested to see what they're able to do in terms of a Resident Evil game utilizing the Resident Evil engine on the Switch.